Welcome to HumanityWins.net. Please read the important disclaimer on your screen. All of the content provided is for entertainment purposes only. It should not be taken as medical or legal advice. Please contact your doctor or lawyer if you require such advice. Thank you. The show starts right now. Hello, welcome to episode 127 from October the 20th of the year 2022. Today's a Thursday, and today's episode is going to be about germ theory versus terrain theory. First of all, I want to apologize that this week there's only going to be 2 episodes, Monday and Thursday. And we had a pattern for months now of bringing you 3 episodes per week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday usually. And in this case, it was just impossible for me, and I'm going to share in this episode why. I had just the normal or a little bit more than normal job obligations and family obligations. And on top of that, I just didn't feel very well all week and actually part of last week. So I want to start really with that story because that's my feeling about this concept of what creates illnesses, okay? And I think that the definition of illness on the human body is just imbalance. It's on a human body that is imbalanced emotionally, spiritually, physically, with its environment, and it has a working immune system, working perfectly in order. Disease just doesn't happen. And I think that's going to be the future. I must insist this has to do with the future, with a new world, with a new upgraded reality that is awaiting us soon. That disease is going to be something of the past. Actually, I don't even think we're going to remember it. And we're going to understand disease, it's not supposed to happen. Not to us, not to other living beings such as dogs, birds, fish, whatever you want to think, koala bears. It's just something that is not part of the equation, okay? It's not part of a non-hijacked reality. We do get disease on this reality because our immune systems, which are there to actually prevent disease, physical disease, malfunction because of all the things that are thrown at us, because of the terrain, okay? So in a way, yes, I do align more with the terrain theory. I think both theories have a merit, okay? I'm gonna share that feelings, and actually I believe in a third thing, which is the most important thing to me, which is the environment theory, and is that the imbalances to our immune system are given out by the environment, especially EMF or electromagnetic frequency. For me, that radiation is the one that is more damaging to us, and it's the one that eventually creates rampant disease, and that's why, geographically speaking, you can identify those things. That, of course, mainstream science, medicine loves the germ theory because it's how it can give you medicines to actually stop these air quotes germs, like we had on the pandemic, okay, this pandemic or whatever you want to call it. So there's a virus, so we're gonna give you a vaccine for the virus, we're gonna give you medicine to treat the virus, whatever, to kill it. That's their approach, okay? How will it work with terrain theory? Not very much for them. How will it work with environmental theory? Actually, very worse, because in a way it's their fault. The environment is like that, okay? So no, this is not about climate change or anything like that. Allow me to explain, and you're going to understand what I mean with environment theory. But first of all, let's watch a video on germ theory. I know most of us, we know about it, but let's watch a video. Let's just refresh the concepts. What is germ theory? Of course, the parent of germ theory is a French investigator, scientist, Pasteur, and that's why it comes the word from pasteurization. It comes from his last name, and he's the one that apparently watching some food or something like that decay and see all these, in this case, bacteria that were created. He was apparently, this is the mainstream explanation. He was able to isolate them and find a way to treat them with antibiotics, which in a way is a definition of anti-life, because biotic equals life, okay? So it's a killing these things that shouldn't affect us if we're in a pristine state, in a stable state, and that's where the terrain theory mixes with the germ theory, in the sense that, sure, there are pathogens out there. There are living beings, such as viruses, bacteria, parasites, mold, all of these things want to live. They're living things, and they need hosts to continue going. And they usually don't want to kill the host because they know in a way that if they kill the host, they die themselves. So we have all this stuff inside us, but we are able to live in balance with it, and it's out there in the environment. And when you touch a doorknob, when you grab a book, there are living things out there, okay? But they're not supposed to harm you. If you, for example, touch an old book full of maybe mold or maybe dust or something like that, there's bacteria there, but it's not supposed to harm you, okay? If your terrain, your inner terrain, is fine, there goes the terrain theory. So let's watch this short video, around three minutes and something, about the germ theory, and then I'll continue giving you my thoughts.
Germ theory of diseases describes that diseases are caused by tiny germs. This is an accepted scientific theory for many diseases. These tiny germs invade human beings and animals. Their reproduction within the host cause diseases. Many scientists had proposed the germ theory, even much before Pasteur's experiment. But all those proposals will remain unrecognized. Girolamo Fracastoro suggested that diseases are caused by invisible living organisms transmitted from one person to another. This was further supported by Marcus von Planches. Planches not only stated that living germs are the causative agents of diseases, but also said that different germs are responsible for different diseases. However, these views were dominated by Gale theory. The concept of germs to diseases had become quite general during the 18th century. In 1842, Oliver Wendell Holmes believed that puerperal fever, a disease of childbirth, was caused by a germ carried from one mother to another by midwives and physicians. At the same time, Ignaz Philipp Semmelweis, from Hungary, started using antiseptics for hand disinfection during obstetrical operations, and he also explained the importance of hand disinfection to other physicians, and advised them to use. This has gradually reduced the rate of deaths caused due to infections associated with childbirths. Semmelweis was called the savior of mothers. He then published the concept and prophylaxis of childbed fever in 1861. His work was ignored though the concept of antisepsis was brought into life by the experiments of Joseph Lister in England. Later, the importance of antisepsis was completely understood and appreciated by medical profession. The other side. Louis Pasteur had successfully worked on the fermentation issues and pebrine disease. Pebrine is a silkworm disease that ruined the silk industry in France. Pasteur was then challenged to work on anthrax by the French government. Anthrax is a disease of cattle, sheep, and rarely human beings. He isolated the microbes from the blood of infected animals. Simultaneously, Robert Koch was also working on anthrax in Germany. Because of his interest in bacteriology, he continued to work on anthrax and discovered that the germs that cause anthrax are rod-shaped. He also isolated these germs from the blood of animals that were died of anthrax. In his experiments, he inoculated the isolated germs into a healthy animal. Then he observed that these animals had developed similar kind of symptoms of anthrax. He finally provided the first evidence that bacteria are the causative agents of diseases in animals. This has led him to establish Koch's postulates, a series of 4 principles to support germ-to-disease concept. The organism must always be present in every case of the disease. The organism must be isolated from a host containing the disease and grown in pure culture. Samples of the organism taken from pure culture must cause the same disease when inoculated into a healthy animal in the laboratory. The organism must be isolated from the inoculated animal and must be identified as the same original organism that was first isolated from the originally diseased host. Although Koch's postulates provided the guidelines to identify the cause of disease, there are some inherent limitations that could not be answered in those times. Some of these limitations are: the postulates explain some infectious diseases but not viruses, as techniques were not developed to isolate viruses during 1800s. Therefore, it was believed that Koch's postulates are applicable to only a few infectious diseases. As per the third postulate, the experimental animal should develop the disease. But it did not happen in every case because of asymptomatic carriers, immunity, and genetic resistance. Koch's postulates fail to explain prion diseases and other agents that cannot be grown in cultures. For our understanding, prion is a type of protein that can trigger normal proteins in the brain to fold abnormally. Prion diseases can affect humans and animals.
Okay, so I think it was a very well-made explanation of germ theory and what it stands for, and basically, this concept that we get ill because of microorganisms, basically, viruses, bacteria, parasites, and mold. Okay, I do believe there's something there. I don't want to say that terrain theory, I don't see them as mutually exclusive. You see, the advocates of the terrain theory claim viruses don't exist. I don't agree with that. I think they do exist, and bacteria and that. It's very simple to see. Just, you need to remember when you were a child maybe, or sometimes you cut yourself fishing or something like that. When you see there is a little infection, even if it doesn't go further, of course, if the infection went further, you might lose a finger or a complete hand, or sometimes this infection, this bacteria starts eating your skin, the skin eating bacteria, and it could complicate. You possibly will need to have some comorbidities such as cancer, diabetes, something like that. to be able to fall into that case. And it's very difficult. Your immune system is just not going to fight it, even without antibiotics or anything like that. Of course, that's the reason you need to take care of cuts, bruises, all that. Well, bruises, okay, but basically everything that goes into your blood, because it could develop into an infection that could become serious. So as you can see, I embrace both things. Not the word embrace, but I accept both postulates, both theories. That yes, of course, part of disease, not all of disease, is through microorganisms. Those four I mentioned: viruses, bacteria, parasites, and mold. And the condition of your inner terrain, as we're going to watch in the next video, and a lady is explaining that the terrain theory about your inner terrain. But I'm going to expand it in my final thoughts to my idea that the environment, okay, environmental toxicity is very important in disease. Okay, so it's for me the two most important things is your inner terrain, basically being balanced emotionally, physically, spiritually. For physical issues of your physical vessel is basically emotional and physical balance. Okay, and you also need to be in an environment that is not toxic to you. Unfortunately, the complete planet Earth, they have made it toxic, and that's by design. And that's why it doesn't matter how balanced you are. We'll go back to terrain theory. You, for example, go into a nuclear plant inside the core. Let's say the core is open. You're going to die in seconds, okay? It doesn't matter how strong immune system you have, and that the sheer amount of radiation is going to kill you in seconds. That's it. If you, for example, you jump into a frigid sea, and doesn't matter how good of a swimmer you are, how strong physically you are, how strong your immune system, you're probably gonna die in a matter of minutes, an hour, a couple of hours. Okay, so because of the cold. So I do think the environment has a lot to do, and it's unfortunate that the environment is beyond our control in a way. Because unless you move into the country, unless you move into the sea, that would be my best recommendations, to be honest. And you know what? If I wasn't married, if I didn't have a family, kids, if it was only me at this stage, I would certainly already have moved to the sea. I love the sea, and I think it's the most benevolent environment for us humans to thrive. Okay, so you live by the sea, like my friend Tony from Sayulita, Mexico. You're in heaven. You have it made. Okay, because you're in the right place. I think environmentally speaking. So it goes back to COVID and this notion. COVID doesn't exist. I don't agree. It might not be a virus. I agree on that. I don't think it's a virus. I definitely think there's a parasite in play, but I think it's mostly environmental toxicity. Okay, and the moment you lower yourself, your terrain. So you see, all of three things are in play: the environment, the terrain, and the germ. Okay, so the moment your inner terrain, for example, you are vibrating low, you have an argument, you're just vibrating in fear, in hate, in rage, then at that moment, if the environmental toxicity it's able to get your immune system in trouble, then it's when you develop the symptoms. It appears to be an infection of some kind, a viral infection, a bacterial infection. But yes, I do agree with the one saying no, it's your body detoxing. And as your body is detoxing, your energy lowers because your body has the need to lower it. It's like a car that is not running well, you have to run it slowly, okay? Same concepts in nature. When your body is detoxing, is fixing itself, then you need to, in a way, take it easy. So I want to share with you, before we see, let's watch the terrain theory video, and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts, sharing you something that happened to me last week, how I think it's going to fit in all of this.
So the next theory I want to talk about is terrain theory, and this is talking about our inner terrain, or what we commonly know as our immune system. And the scientists that did the study on this and came up with this theory was Antoine Bichon. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but that was my best attempt. So this is our immune system. This was something that is an incredible design our Creator gave us. It is how our body wards off and deals with all these things that are in our environment. We have incredible defense systems that are in place, and so I want to talk a little bit about these. They say in the sports arena, I'm not a sports fan, but they say the best defense is good offense, and this is what our immune system is. First of all, we have our skin. Our skin is covered with an acid mantle, which can be antimicrobial, antibacterial. It is our first line of defense against foreign invasions. And we also have good bacteria that lives on our skin that also acts as a defense. We have the underlying fatty layer that is a defense system. And, anything that comes to us has to first penetrate through this first layer of defense. And then we have mucous membranes. They line our sinuses, they line our lungs, and mucus can engulf and capture and help defend us against invaders as well. And then if we ingest anything, it has to get past the line of defense of our hydrochloric acid in our stomach. This is a huge factor, and for people that take antacids, it's one of those things that can shut down that line of defense and cause ill health in our body and really make way for things to invade our digestive system. And then we have the wonderful flora that lives inside of our body, what we commonly refer to today as the human biome. And these are friendly bacteria that live along our digestive tract that are an incredible line of defense against foreign invaders in our body. And then we have the white blood cell, and this is this beautiful microscopic defense that we have against invaders that can attack, that can dismantle, and just do this incredible job of killing off things that make its way into our system. Our body has this memory system built in, so when we're exposed to something, it remembers it and it sends out a specific attack and cells that destroy specific invaders in our body. It's an incredible, incredible way of defending against invaders. And so, we have the germ theory and we have the inner terrain theory, and this one tends to be more of a holistic focus. This is more of the common narrative. This is what more people are familiar with. This one tends to be more of a holistic focus.
Okay, so that was a very good explanation of the terrain theory, how it's about your body. It's not about what you are against as far as, germs and viruses and bacteria and all that. It's about how your body is inside, how well your immune system is working. And if it's working optimally, you basically can take everything. Again, there are limits to this. And the example of the nuclear plant, the example of being out there on the elements, in the weather, no matter how good you are, there are limits to this, okay? But on everyday situations, you are usually fine with your immune system. But your immune system, and that's where I don't see germ theory or even terrain theory addressing this, your immune system is bombarded by this electromagnetic frequency by the modern reality, okay? Basically, every technology they have created that emanates frequency, it's detrimental to the body, okay? So that's why there's this relationship that, for example, they say when radar came along, the 1918 flu pandemic came along. So what's the relationship with that? I agree with the relationship. I agree. They put this new level, these new unknown frequencies out there. The immune systems were not prepared for it. Plus, the world was, especially Europe, was finishing a world war that your immune system, you are not properly nourished. You probably have a lot of stress. You vibrated in fear, in hate, in rage because of a war, hating your enemy and all that. And that makes you basically that, of course, you're going to get this disease from this germ. So you see, germ theory has a place, terrain theory has a place, but environmental theory, why is no one really addressing the 64,000-pound elephant in the room that we're bombarded every day by this EMF electromagnetic frequencies bad for you because they are stealing our electrons. And I do believe if you are vibrating on a negative electric state, you are fine. You can take everything. But why do they keep bombarding us with protons? With protons, to balance out, need to steal electrons from someone. And who do they steal electrons from? From living beings, not only humans. Okay, why are they suppressing the life on planet Earth like that? And of course, disease is going to be rampant. Right now, there's an estimate by mainstream data, not me, it's just the data they put out there, that 1 in 2 people worldwide are going to develop cancer in their lifetimes. By the way, we develop cancer all the time, okay? Just ask, even doctors are supposed to know this. But you, especially since you are 15 to 20 years old, like, young men, young women, you start having 4 to 5 cancerous cells per day that your immune system basically doesn't allow it to grow over that. And you might want to go and look my opinions or my feelings on cancer. I did that like 50 episodes ago, but I basically shared that I think cancer is a reaction of the body trying to save you. When you create a tumor of an important size, is to be left alone. That's my feelings. And yes, if you have multiple tumors, for example, if you go into a radioactive, a power nuclear power plant that is emanating radiation, and you're there every day for years or something, eventually your immune system is going to give out, and you're going to develop these tumors to try to save you. Okay, it's the way of the body trying to take out this radiation out of you. I apologize about that. And now I'm going to share the story. I said, I believe on Monday's episode, I've been a little bit under the weather. I really haven't been sick for like a year, since I was sick last November. And I had been fine. I really didn't have any problems. And last Monday, like 10 days ago, I had a disappointment. I had an argument with someone. I was filled with I was upset, very upset, but really upset. And everything's fine. I mean, that person emailed me afterwards. I replied. We kind of apologized. So I just had something I had no business getting so enraged and upset about. And that in combination, here goes terrain theory with germ theory, okay? So that in combination with the fact that the person here in my office was indeed very symptomatic of disease, I started feeling bad, okay? So this is where germ theory becomes strange or difficult to explain, because some people say, well, I met with someone that had the flu and I didn't catch the flu. Yes, that's normal, okay? That happens. So you get that person on a room with 10 people, maybe 2 are going to catch it and 8 no. But that doesn't mean that germ theory needs to be discredited. Yes, we humans are able to pass along sickness to others. Yes, I believe that's possible. Is it supposed to happen? No. No, if everyone was vibrating on a correct vibration level and the immune systems were working okay, that shouldn't happen. We are firewall. But that does happen in reality because, yes, there are immune systems that are temporarily or permanently not working fine. And for example, old people, that's why they get sick all the time. And that's why they say, oh, you're sick, you have the flu, don't go visit your mother if your mother is, of old age. Because the probability she's going to catch it from you is high because of old age, because of just, the way natural things work, is her immune system is not working properly and is probably going to catch something. And it could complicate, because of the not very well working immune system, it could complicate into something bad. So in my case, it's very clear to me that if I didn't have the disappointment, this argument, I was full with rage, I was very upset. Let's just leave it at that. I really don't want to talk about that anymore, but it's very important for the sake of making you the story that I had this past Monday and Wednesday. This person gets, since Monday started the symptoms, but on Wednesday gets really bad. It's been sent to work home office. And then on Thursday, I start feeling ill and I'm just getting a little bit better today. I don't have any cough, I don't have any respiratory symptoms, but I do feel under the weather. I feel my bones ache, my joints ache, and I have low energy. And that's the reason I just presented 2 videos this week. And actually, believe me, it was a struggle just to make this one. I'm not in my A game, I apologize. I hope you enjoy it anyway. I think it's good information. And yes, this is the reason. And also I've been with a lot of work, and probably I'm going to keep doing 2 videos for a few weeks now until I catch up with my projects, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this one. Again, in my opinion, this goes back that if you vibrate high, if you really are with a positive outlook, if you're vibrating just thinking about love, positive things, disease is something is going to be rare for you. Yes, yes, because again, it depends on the opponent, okay? I put the very, very extreme case of you going inside a nuclear plant that is giving out, toxic or lethal radiation. Yes, of course, you're going to probably die or you're going to be very ill, no matter how high you're vibrating, because it's just the limits of the body, okay? It's impossible. You're not firewall in that way. You're firewall in the spirit. So what you can do for your health is just try to be always positive, try to take good care of your body, and of course, avoiding germs is okay, but being exaggerated about it, no. Those persons that are always cleaning the knobs and their hands and washing their hands 20 times a day, I don't agree. But of course, washing your hands, after going, for example, to the toilet, or if you had to pick up something that is extremely dirty, then afterwards clean your hands, because yes, that exists. That exists. If you, hygienic conditions and the conditions of the environment are extremely important for your well-being and your immune system. So I hope you enjoyed this one. my little take. As always, I try to make a little bit different, make it a little bit interesting for you, share my feelings, and always remember everything is about you vibrating high, you being strong. You can take care of this, okay? So I hope you like it. Please stay for the last 3 minutes of the show. If everything is okay, I shall see you back on Monday, okay? Have a great weekend. Enjoy it as much as you can. Thank you. We want you on the show. Send me an email to hey@humanitywins.net to schedule an interview. Help me out by making the show more interesting, fun, and knowledgeable by having you on and giving our viewers the opportunity to learn from you. Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover yourself. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and guidance. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover yourself? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to yourself and the universe. Request to be connected and ask, who am I? Where do I come from? You will start getting signs, breadcrumbs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about those realities start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering yourself equals to breaking your matrix. Your self-imposed limits will fall and you will be ready to serve humanity and help break this spell and deception on us. But you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will start a new world. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how all emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, loss, envy, violence, justice, true violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only the evildoers and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Please relax and enjoy life. When everyone breaks their own matrix, humanity through our community consciousness will break the final spell. The new world will start and everything will gradually fall. Governments, hierarchies, and the medical and financial system will go from scarcity to abundance for all. Thank you very much for watching. Please share this episode. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@humanitywins.net. Please be sure to check out our friends from Waking the Future and their awaken-attire.com shop. They gave me my first opportunity to speak about this and I will be forever grateful. Link to their channel and shop on the show notes. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website www.humanitywins.net. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very nice day.